Hello, great people. There's been a raging anger in the presidency since President Bola Tinubu reshuffled his cabinet. The anger is not basically about the manner that the president reshuffled his cabinet, but a policy that he brought out immediately after that, which is affecting the big boys in the Federal Executive Council. So there's a policy that the president is trying to implement. There's an order that he gave that is really affecting the big boys, which is the ministers. The president has said that, to cut costs, that ministers of state and heads of agencies would only have 3 vehicles in their convoy. This thing has not been sitting well with most of the ministers, and I'll be telling you. He also said that they will only have entitled to 5 security personnel, which is 4 police and 1 DSS. What prompted President Bola Tinubu to make this pronouncement? Is it really about cutting costs, or there is more to it? That's what I'll be telling you in this video. I'll be telling you who the president is targeting and the implication of this, and whether this policy is actually achievable, and how some of these guys will resist it. So stick around. Let's go on this short journey together. Now, according to the president, he said that he is doing this to bring about a reduction in the cost of governance. Don't forget, it's a policy, but it is 2 in 1, right? That the cars should be limited to 3 and security should be limited to 5. 4 police, 1 DSS. Now, let me take it from the first, which is the cars. Let us get something right. 3 cars for ministers, minister of state, and head of agencies. You now want to ask yourself that, can 3 cars, can it really be enough for the people that largely comprises this, that falls into this category? First, who is a minister? Or what kind of people becomes ministers in Nigeria? You realize that it is governors, senator, minister. It is like 3 people that are minister. They have either been a governor before, or a senator before, or later, after they became a minister, at the expiration of their tenure, or if they are sacked, they will end up becoming a senator or a governor. So it's usually a circle. It's usually a circle. So what do I mean by that? A minister is a potential governor, and a minister is a potential senator, or if you like, a prospective senator, because those 3 positions usually align. That's why you see that in the cabinet of President Bola Tinubu, when he first nominated his minister, there were 9 former governors there. Life happened to El-Rufai. It wasn't confirmed based on security report by the DSS or NIA or another security agencies. So right now we have 8 former governors in the cabinet of President Bola Tinubu. Now stick around, I'm going somewhere. Now 8 former governors that are used to driving long convoy. Some of them live this over bloated, exorbitant, you understand, arrogant life. Some doesn't have the kind of like public appeal to kind of to work with just 3 cars in their convoy. So you want to ask yourself that, how will such people cope? So the first question I ask myself is that, is it 3 officially? That means that if they like, they can use 10 and fund it with their own money. Or is it that they can only use 3? If they can use 10 and fund it with their own money, then it's not a problem. For somebody like Wike, he has a lot of money, that he earned legitimately or illegitimately. Because if you steal people's money, it is illegitimate earning. But then he seems to have a lot of money, and Wike can afford to put 20 cars on the road. So if you are now restricting Wike to 3 cars, that is where problem is. Somebody like Atiku Bagudu, the former governor of Kebbi State, this guy has been kind of like tasting money. You know when they say taste money, by street parlance, he has been exposed to money since the days of Abacha. Atiku Bagudu is not a newbie. You would have seen reports locally and internationally that he was one of the people that was allegedly laundering money for Sonny Abacha at that point in time. So if you want to restrict somebody like Atiku Bagudu, a former governor, that maybe if he's going, there's usually maybe 30 cars in his convoy. Somebody like Wike now, you now want to restrict him to 3 cars. That would be almost impossible. Then you will be incurring the wrath of some of these guys as president. And you know they are your first line of defense because they are the one in the Federal Executive Council. They are the one to implement your policy. You will give a policy direction. They are the actualizer. They are the actualizer of that particular direction. So the cabinet reshuffle did not affect the big boys, but then the policy that the president brought after that is really affecting the big boys. So if it is that it is to cut costs, but they can use and fund any amount of car they want with their money, it's okay. But if it is that it should not be more than 3 in any circumstance, wahala go dey o, serious problem go dey. So if it is not more than 3, then there will be a big problem based on the personality of some of these ministers. Wike now, ordinarily, Wike is, he's all over the place. When they say they jam talk every time, they kind of like enter into trouble with different kind of people. You want Wike to move with 3 cars, it is not possible. If it is money, it's not a problem. Wike can afford the likes of luxury. Now, the problem is that it is not easy for these guys to kind of like live this kind of life. Not that money is a problem to these guys. No, money is not a problem. It's just that they are addicted to power. They are addicted to power. So at any point in time, they just want to be in the corridors of power because power is also addictive. So you will see that they are in your cabinet not because they lack money. They already have money. They are big boys. But then they are in your cabinet because they are kind of like addicted to power. So because they have lost their second address over time. For instance, Nyesom Wike is a lawyer. Nyesom Wike haven't been a governor for 8 years. I don't think say any law dey in here though. You understand? And if you want to contract Wike to come and represent you, are you sure say Wike no go sleep or when they draft your case file and something like that, or his line of defense in court? And of course, how much do you want to pay him? Somebody that is is struggling to retain himself as a godfather in Rivers State now. So how much do you want to give him to go and represent you as a lawyer? You understand? And there's this video that was circulating the round that Wike allegedly stole over 2 trillion naira. It was one politician in Rivers State that made that assertion. So somebody that, if truly, that has allegedly stolen over 2 trillion naira, how much do you want to give him? So the money is really not the problem. It's just that these guys are addictive to power. And when you are dealing with people like that, people that are addicted to power, that see themselves as a big boy on their own, that they've always been calling the shot, you need to be very, very careful the way you deal with these guys. If not, they will give you problem. Now, let's just look at the second aspect, which is the security. You know that the first one can be solved with money. That, okay, government can only afford 3 cars for you, but if you can afford more than that, it's up to you. But government will only be responsible for the maintenance of 3 cars. That is not a problem to big boys like Wike, Bagudu, and some other big boys, especially the former governors in the cabinet. But if it is about the security, that security aspect, can it be bought with money? You know that these guys as former governors, they are usually used to this in such a way that when they come down from the car, you know those guys when they wear suits, who are allegedly DSS guys, you understand? All of them surrounding their car, you understand, creating effect and all that. These guys are used to it. They've lived this life for 8 years. So if you are now restricting the DSS officials attached to them to just 1 and 4 police officers, you now imagine that, how do you want them to cope? Imagine somebody like Wike, Bagudu, some of these big boys, you know them, to cope with just 4 policemen. When even a local government chairman, ordinary day, they get 4, 5, 6 policemen, local government chairman, not to now talk of somebody like Wike. Understand? So this thing is really bringing problem in the presidency. Like the ministers, some of them, they are really very annoyed that, but what's wrong with you, bro? What kind of policy is this? And you yourself that you want to you want to reduce our effect. Have you reduced your own effect? Do you know how many cars if you dey go out? No be like 30, 40 cars they follow you. So you want to reduce our own effect. Some of us are just managing like 15 cars in our convoy, 20 cars. We never reach you now. Why you can't want to reduce our own effect? You want to put our life in danger. You understand? You know that Nigeria is a difficult place. So some of these guys are not happy. So if you give them 4 police officers, 1 DSS, can they really cope with that? And another thing is that do you want these guys to now be spending money on their own private security? Will they go and hire private security? And of course, the money will be expensive. And these guys are not used to spending their own personal fund. And if they hire private security and they are paying, your guess is as good as mine that they will be paying them from the money that they've allegedly stolen, or the money that they will steal from your government is what they will use to pay them. So, and will these guys be permitted to carry gun in case they are attacked and they have private security guards wearing suit or any other uniform? If they are attacked, is it the police and DSS, which is like five guns with them? Is it the one that they will use to face militant? And if you say 3 vehicles, a minister that is to operate across Nigeria, that Nigeria is his territory, like Minister of Education, Minister of Blue Economy, Natural Resources, somebody like Dele Alake now, if he's going to Zamfara, Dele Alake is in charge of Natural Resources. If he's going to Zamfara, where they are bandits, to go and investigate this, gold mining and everything, will Dele Alake go to Zamfara with only 4 policemen and 1 DSS? Will you go with just 3 cars where they are dreaded bandits? So you see that largely the ministers are just laughing at Bola Tinubu that, of course, this policy is apparently not implementable. It can only be implementable depending on where you are going to. There are some assignments that the president will send you that he will even be the one, if he loves you and he wants you alive, to say that they should give you 50 policemen, sir. You understand? So these are some serious issues that are causing, some kind of like misfeelings in the presidency. And so long as misfeelings begin to emerge, definitely these guys, and if these guys could be very dangerous. And if your ministers, your first line of defense, people that will actualize your policy, if they don't like you, it's a very serious problem for your government, because I doubt if your government can kind of like achieve anything. Now, the reduction in cost of governance, don't misquote me, is good. We need it because some of these guys, they overdo. In fact, now they are overdue. Now he made Bola Ahmed Tinubu come up with this thing, because some of them, their convoy will be intimidating that of the president. Some of them, if they are passing by, you will even think it is the president that is coming. They create so much effect, so much larger than life attitude. But then, if you want to reduce their security, why not tackle insecurity? When you tackle insecurity, their security effect will naturally reduce. But if you don't tackle insecurity, these guys will not put their life at risk just because they want to obey you. And the president himself, you understand, he may not have led by example in terms of his own entourage, but in fairness to him, he too, he has done some certain things. But whether that will be maintained or whether it has even, it is even been implemented is a different ball game entirely. But in January, Tinubu also made an announcement that he will be reducing his entourage, especially for foreign trips. He said he will be reducing it from 50 officials to 20 officials. That is a significant reduction, from 50 to 20. Local engagement, he reduced it to 25 officials. That of Shetima, his vice, he reduced it to 5 officials for foreign engagement. But you would want to ask yourself that if the president is going to a foreign country to represent Nigeria and he will be needing 20 officials, if Shetima is going to that same country to represent Nigeria, you now want to give him just 5, like 5 to 20. How will that work? So if 5 is possible for Shetima, if he's representing Nigeria, why is that same 5 not possible for you? You understand? And the difference between 5 and 20, president and vice president, I think that's too wide. If it is like 15-20 or maybe 10-20, it's still okay. Then he reduced that of Shetima to 15 officials, right? So Bola Tinubu, locally we have 25 officials, Shetima we have 15. That is still quite logical. But the truth is, we all know that these things, Bola Tinubu cannot abide by it. Because if he's going to a place, it depends on the place. The security will not look at his order. It will look at what would be good for his protection. So if 100 officials is what is needed to protect the president, they will deploy it. If it is 1,000, they will deploy it accordingly. But then, I think the president needs to be very careful with some of these big guys. You know, people that see themselves as a lord unto themselves in his cabinet in terms of his policies. And he should make the policies implementable by doing some things that the policy that it brings out will be implementable, which is reducing insecurity, and he himself should lead by example. It's been an interesting time with you on this episode of Politing with Dr. Omoshola Deji. Dr. Deji is your political scientist with a PhD in political science, and this is where we analyze politics and happenings in the polity. Do well to subscribe, do well to turn on your notification button. Till I see you again. I'm not always far from you. I've got interesting videos coming up for you. I love you all, sincerely.